Greetings, Sindibai from Eastern Nigeria. Another update for this Sunday. Why Jonathan never arrested Nnamdi Kanu? Ejimaka throws more light, talking about the special counsel to the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nomad Nnamdi Kanu, Aloy Ejimaka, has told the world, the international community in Washington, D.C., why the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan never arrested the leader of the IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, when he was the president of Nigeria. Because the activities of the IPOB dates back to that time. It dates back to the time of Jonathan. So it didn't start because of Buhari, like some will say in media. So Ejimaka is saying, look, President Goodluck Jonathan never arrested the IPOB leader because the president never saw self-determination as a crime. That's the former president Goodluck Jonathan. Ejimaka said he never saw self-determination as a crime, rather the right of people to express themselves in a given society. Yes, of course, you will recall that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was abducted or arrested, let me use the word arrest, in 2015 for charges bordering on treason, terrorism, and managing an unlawful society. Of course, Onyendu fled from Nigeria to UK when the federal government led their forces against him in his hometown of Olukumaya, when assassination attempt was made on his life. He left Nigeria in whiskers. Now, it was again, this one abduction. He was abducted in faraway Kenya, as Nigeria government collaborated with that of Kenya. It was extraordinary rendition back to Nigeria. But Ejimaka is saying this at a free Nnamdi Kanu conference in Washington, D.C. Let me quote part of Ejimaka's statement. The right to self-determination is a right that is allowed internationally, domestically, and continentally. The formation of IPOB did not break any law of the United Kingdom or that of Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu was not arrested between 2012 and 2015 because the government then understood that self-determination was not a crime. But the government that came into power in May 2015 decided to treat self-determination as a criminal activity. So he was arrested in Lagos and charged for treason, illegal importation, and insulting the president. End of quote. Now this is the statement he released in Washington, D.C., telling the world that, look, Buhari is a hater of the Igbo, because the same Goodluck Jonathan was the president of Nigeria in 2012 to 2015, when IPOB activities was still on. He did not arrest Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because he knows the law. But here comes a man. First of all, he came for vendetta. He came to vent his anger on the people of Eastern Nigeria, the Igbos. Jonathan's administration, they tagged it as Igbo administration, the way they tagged the January 15, 1966 military coup, first military coup in Nigeria, as Igbo coup. They termed the Jonathan administration Igbo administration or Igbo regime. They were so envious of the likes of Okonjo-Iweala, yes, who was the then finance minister and the coordinating minister for the economy. Okay? They were envious of people like Emeka Anyoko, who was the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee. Yes. They were envious of the Baton Najis, who was then the Minister for Power before Professor Chinedu Nebo came on board. And so that was the notion Buhari had before he came on board to punish the Igbos, to deprive them those things he felt that they have access to Nigeria's wealth. And so, even if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was not into IPOB, Buhari will still punish the Igbos the way he's punishing us today. So it's not the case of IPOB, it's the case of the man who hates the Igbo. He came for vendetta. Now, talking about the self-determination, if this thing is being done in northern Nigeria, Buhari will not punish them. When you see the Boko Haram, see the bandits, they are being begged. They are being treated with kid gloves. The herdsmen, they are begging the Boko Haram to surrender. They are giving them houses abroad. Their leaders abroad for them to lay down their arms. They have given them amnesty. What happened to IPOB? What happened to the Igbos? We have said it. You see the Northeast Development Commission to revamp and rehabilitate the northeastern Nigeria because of Boko Haram activities. What happened to the Igbos, the eastern Nigeria, for almost 50 years after the war? What happened? More than 50 years. So what are we not talking about? We are saying of a hatred, we are saying of injustice, we are saying of marginalization, inequity. That means we are not the same. Why can't we go our separate ways? That is what we are saying. Yes? So you clamp Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in prison because he's on a self-determination effort. And you think you have done noble. You have only incriminated your administration. That's what Buhari has done. He has shown hate. He has said, look, they are dot in a circle. I have said that we will treat them the way we treated their fathers. So what kind of evidence you are waiting for to know that Buhari is a hater of the Igbo? He has come to complete the mission of Othman Danfodio of conquest, conquering the entire North Central states, the Middle Beltans. And that's why we are telling the Middle Beltans, good morning. You're supposed to know that now is morning. Yes, when the Igbo started to fight this Fulani occupation immediately after independence. Fulani occupation. The first military coup was based on that. The atrocities of then Balewa and Sadwana was open against the Western Nigeria. But today the West is conniving with these people, the Fulani, against the indigenous Nigerians, against the West. As we are speaking now, the Western Nigeria collaborating with the Fulani oligarchs to suppress, subdue, and annihilate the indigenous Nigerians from Plateau to southern Kaduna to Benue to Kogi. You come to eastern Nigeria. That is what is happening now. By tomorrow they will start that annihilation. Yes. So that is what we are saying. So that is the point. Jonathan allowed it because he's so wise. He knows the law. This Ochonama, Katuriara, doesn't know anything. Yes, the man is Ochonama, a former president that will go into cattle rearing. Because he said after Asorok, he will go into cattle rearing to go and be a nomad, moving from one end of the forest to the other in a civilized society in this century, 21st century. The whole world is talking about ranching, and you're talking about nomadic life. That is it. It's unfortunate that Nigeria has such a person as a president for 8 years, wasted